welcome back to Morgan's movie collection. The indicator sale seemed to come around pretty quickly again, but of course I capitalised by picking up myself a bunch of beautiful Blu-rays, as I always do when the indicator sale comes around. They are probably my favourite Blu-ray company. I love what they do. I love the stuff they put into their movies or their releases, and I love the kind of movies they do put out. There's always a great mix of old movies, of obviously a lot of noir comes out of Indicator, a lot of kind of weird cult horror as well, bunch of British stuff, bunch of American stuff. There's a really good mix of a lot of the stuff I really like that come out of Indicator. So I always make sure I pick up something whenever they have a sale going on. This time was of course no different. I have 4 movies and a box set as well, which itself has 4 movies in, that I got in this recent sale. Should we just get straight on into it? I really do love Indicator. I've got a really good, healthy Indicator collection, more so than my Criterion collection, which I've talked about in the last 2 videos of Morgan's movie collection that I've done. But let's start, because we have a little bit to get into today, with number 1 in the Indicator range, which I'm actually quite thankful I do have now, because it's number 1, so that's a bit special, isn't it? It is John Carpenter's Christine from 1983. Forgive me for taking a drink, I really do need that. Which I should have said as well, I've watched a few of these since they arrived. I know it was a very successful, very busy sale for Indicator, which is great to hear and great to see that obviously so many people and so many more people are, keep coming back to Indicator or discover Indicator as a Blu-ray company as for the first time. I really do. I love to hear that they've been so busy over this recent sale period. But yes, John Carpenter's Christine, as much of a high school movie from the 80s as it is a weird possession horror. Obviously, the car Christine comes from a Stephen King story, but obviously a kind of a tale of the car itself. I want to say birthed from hell, birthed from demonic presences that obviously takes over the psyche of our lead character, who I actually forget the name of. He's played by Keith Gordon in the movie, and causes him to become, well, outspoken as opposed to his nerdy, shy self that he starts off the movie as. But of course, in a movie like this, it has murderous situations. He ends up with a girlfriend, and the car Christine doesn't like that. So does Christine take it upon herself to go about murdering all the people who Keith Gordon has run-ins with, who bully him and all this kind of stuff? Of course she does, because she's obsessed with him as much as he's obsessed with her. There's this very almost natural, strange, romantic love between the two of them. It's a very weird movie. I've never seen it before. I'm very happy to have owned it, though. I'm very happy to have seen it. Not quite what I was expecting it to be. I think it was honestly more of a genuine high school movie than just an all-out kind of car killer or killer car gore fest that I maybe thought it was going to be. But I think that works to its benefit, to be honest. Next up, we have Another very, very strange movie, but again, a really, really interesting one. This is a British movie from 1971 called Gungshu. It's Stephen Frears' first directorial effort, with Albert Finney and Billy Whitelaw, Frank Finlay, and Janice Rule. I got this because I really do like Albert Finney, but I haven't really seen anything of him of this kind before. Obviously, I really like Albert Finney from playing Scrooge. And this is a half serious, half tongue-in-cheek noir movie. But it's from the early 70s, it's from 1971. Albert Finney plays a guy who really likes Humphrey Bogart and really likes the Maltese Falcon and this kind of stuff. And almost spends the movie putting on a bit of an act, as though he pretends to be him, because he puts an ad out in the paper as a private eye, even though he isn't a private eye. He's a nightclub comedian. Because he just likes that sort of stuff. He almost wants to be Humphrey Bogart. Of course, he gets a real case, which turns out to be a little bit more, he bites off a little bit more than he can chew, and it becomes a little bit personal, and it becomes a little bit too close to home. It's a really, really interesting genre blend that is as much of a really good, genuine crime thriller, a noirish style movie, as much as it is really quite funny at times. And I think Albert Finney's great in it when he's using this kind of half Northwest England, half Bogart accent that he just puts on. I don't think it should be taken entirely seriously. I didn't take it entirely seriously, but it was pretty clear to me when it wanted to be taken seriously, and I think it really did work when it did. I think it's a really, really interesting little movie. I should say as well, the features that comes with these. With Christine, you get a commentary with Carpenter and Keith Gordon. You get a 3-part making of documentary. You get 26 minutes of deleted scenes. You get the isolated score, an image gallery, trailers and TV spots, and new and improved subtitles with Christine. Always great features in the Indicator range. With Gumshoe, you get Stephen Frears talking about Gumshoe, an interview with him, like a talking head with him. You get the writer of this movie, Neville Smith, talking about the movie. You get the producer talking about the movie in a short interview, as well as the editor in a longer one as well. The production designer, these are all separate things, and an actor who shows up in this movie. So you get a whole bunch of different people talking about their experiences with this movie, which is always very interesting. You do get Stephen Frears' debut short film called The Burning from 1968. You get an image gallery, original trailers, and new and improved subtitles. A nice array of features with Gumshoe as well. That is number 37 in the Indicator range. One I haven't watched yet because I'm kind of saving it for an episode of It's a Wonderful Podcast, the main show, of course, which you can find on the It's a Wonderful Podcast feed on all major podcast platforms. It's our main show on Fridays where we celebrate old movies. We always love doing that then, discovering new old movies. It's what we love to do best on It's a Wonderful Podcast. I am saving this one to hopefully do on the show. This is Olivia de Havilland in The Snake Pit from 1948. It is number 104 in the Indicator range. It appears to be a kind of, should we say kind of a mental illness movie, but perhaps not as kind of bleak as that. It seems to be along similar lines to something like The Three Faces of Eve, which is a great movie. Um, but Olivia de Havilland's great. Obviously, she's great. She's always great, consistently. I'm very, very interested in this movie to deal with, the subject of mental illness in movies of the 40s is a bold thing to do in itself, and I'm interested to see how this movie does it, because this is one I've been wanting to get for a while, knowing only about it. Oh, not too much about it, which I never like to know too much, really, before watching something. I do like somewhat blind watches sometimes, especially of older movies. I find it very rewarding. But with this, feature-wise, you get an audio commentary with author and film historian Aubrey Solomon. You get a 10-minute analysis by Pamela Hutchinson on the battles of Olivia de Havilland, discussing Olivia de Havilland's career. Under analysis, 31 minutes, an in-depth appreciation by author and film historian Neil Sinyard. The original trailer, image gallery, and new and improved subtitles. Lovely stuff there from The Snake Pit. This is a movie I have watched as well since getting this haul delivered. And this is one I really did enjoy as well. I'm in a little bit of a revisionist Western mindset at the moment, and have been wanting to watch more Westerns this year anyway. Have realised that the revisionist Western is definitely more my style. And this one I found this a really very interesting movie. Death of a Gunfighter from 1969 with the great Richard Widmark and the great Lena Horne, which I found really interesting that Lena Horne is in this movie at all, really, given the fact I think it was her only movie of the entire decade of the 60s, I think. Perhaps I'm wrong there, but she didn't make too many movies around this time after she left, Hollywood mainly in the 50s. It's a limited edition, this as well, I should say. It's number 290. It's quite a recent release from Indicator. It comes with a delightful booklet, which with all sorts of stuff in. Let's read what it has in this. A limited edition 40-page booklet featuring a new essay by Paul Duane, an archival interview with Lena Horne, an extract from Don Siegel's autobiography. Don Siegel did direct this movie, or did he? Because Alan Smithy, the pseudonym, directed this movie, because I forget the original director's name now. He was removed from the project. Don Siegel finished the project but didn't feel like he deserved credit, so they came up with Alan Smithy to direct this movie, who doesn't exist. But it does have an extract from Don Siegel's autobiography in this booklet, as well as contemporary critical responses to this movie and full film credits. There's 3,000 copies of this in limited edition as well. It comes with the audio commentary with screenwriter and novelist C. Courtney Joyner and film historian Henry Park. 22-minute Neil Sinyard discussion on the film's complex production history. A 24-minute appreciation, I suppose, of Lena Horne by Richard Dyer, author of Stars, discussing, yes, the career of Lena Horne. It comes with a short film called Exercise No One from 1962, a rare short film based on the Ira Wolfert short story Off the Highway and starring Richard Widmark, made by students of USC's cinema department. So that's quite interesting. Under the supervision of Fred Zinnemann. That's even more interesting. It comes with the original theatrical trailer, image galleries, new and improved subtitles, and of course this booklet, like I've said, which has a lovely picture of an aging Richard Widmark on the front of it. It is also actually a reversible sleeve, so you can have this orange version like this, or you can have that version. I think I prefer the orange version anyway. But let me know what you think. Go in the comments. Do you want inside version of Death of a Gunfighter or orange version of Death of a Gunfighter? And let me know, because I will go. I will do it. I will change it if the desire is there. But no, I really did find this movie fascinating. It's kind of a Widmark plays an old marshal who kind of isn't with the times anymore because it's set in the early 20th century. The town's moving on without him. The town wants to get rid of him. He's a stubborn old mule. He refuses to go. They realise that the only way they're going to get him to go is ultimately by trying to kill him. And it ends quite fierily, in a real typical Western sense, I suppose. But it does have its revisionism to it. It's kind of new style Western to it, I suppose. I do like that era of Westerns as well, or the era that some Westerns deal with, of the aging traditionalists almost being forced out. And I think because Richard Widmark is our lead character here as well, it's really good at not playing sides. Because if this was John Wayne, you would be naturally, I think, supposed to say, "Oh, what a shame for the old guy. He's just doing his job, and everybody else doesn't understand him." But because it's Widmark, and because of how kind of hot-headed Widmark is in this movie, and kind of in his movies anyway, as great as an actor as he is, it gives us this real interest of, well, should we side with him? Should we not side with him? We spend most of our time with him. He seems a somewhat likable character, although he does do very rash things. But it's very, very interesting. I really did like Death of a Gunfighter. I do think it's one to watch, that. Now we have the box set, which is the limited edition, and I'm surprised to learn that I have number 1249 of 6,000 of this particular box set. I'm surprised that not more of this has sold, because this is John Ford at Columbia, 1935 to 58. You get this nice little sleeve like you do with all Indicators. Wonderful, wonderful box sets. Because John Ford is a director that I am unfortunately a little bit underseen on, and want to change that pretty soon. So I thought I saw this, in the sale at a really good reduced price, and thought, yes, this makes sense. This is another great Indicator box set that I can put with my other Indicator box sets, or really put in order, because you have 4 movies here that are numbers 172 to 175 in that range. But you get absolutely all sorts with this. The 4 movies themselves are 1935's The Whole Town's Talking, 1955's The Long Grey Line, 1958's Gideon's Day, and 1958's The Last Hurrah. The Whole Town's Talking, let's get them out here, is Edward G. Robinson and Jean Arthur. I know very little about this movie. Other than I like Edward G. Robinson, I like Jean Arthur. It's from the mid-30s. It seems to be a bit of a media frenzy movie, which I always like the sounds of. I haven't watched any of these John Ford movies yet, to be honest. I haven't. but I like the sound of that. I really do. The Long Grey Line, Tyrone Power, Maureen O'Hara. Uh, Again, a great double, a great leading couple there, which it appears to be a war movie. I really should have looked closer at these, shouldn't I? I suppose so. Gideon's Day, which is this one with Jack Hawkins, which looks like a tense crime thriller, and I believe it is. Yes, 24 tension-taut hours in the life of a top crime fighter. That's exactly what it is. It's also a British movie. John Ford directing a British movie. That sounds strange, doesn't it? It does sound strange, but this is one of them. Again, the interest, though. That is very interesting in itself, that happened. So yeah, we like the sound of that. And this is The Last Hurrah, Spencer Tracy, who we obviously love, which seems to be a bit of a political movie, not maybe a political in topic, but political in character, because Spencer Tracy appears to play a politician in this movie who is having his last hurrah. We like Spencer Tracy. I'm sure we will be. I'm sure we'll enjoy those movies. I really am. I just need to watch them, don't I suppose? Let's go through all the crazy features you get with John Ford at Columbia as a box set, because obviously with Indicator box sets you get a staggering amount. Although unfortunately with this one you don't get a separate kind of big book, you do get booklets with each of them that are obviously ram-packed with all the same sort of stuff that we found in the booklet of Death of a Gunfighter. You get separate booklets in each of those cases. I think that's because it's an older Indicator Blu-ray release, Indicator box set release. I think the more recent box sets, they do have the kind of cardboard cases for the movies and a separate book, or at least the other ones I have do, that are more recent. But we get 4K restorations of The Whole Town's Talking, The Long Grey Line, and Gideon's Day, and a 2K restoration of The Last Hurrah. All the original mono audio. That is the same with the rest of them as well. You get these, real high quality restorations with all the original audio, all the technical stuff. 2 presentations of Gideon's Day with the original UK title sequence and the alternate US one. Audio commentary on The Long Grey Line with Diana Drum, Glenn Kenny and Farron Smith Name. Audio commentary on Gideon's Day with Charles Barr. You get a interview with Freddie Young, an archival audio recording featuring the celebrated cinematographer in conversation. Video essays on all 4 films by Tag Gallagher, author of John Ford himself and his movies. Interview with Gideon's Day continuity supervisor Elaine Schreck. Archival introductions by the great Leonard Maltin, which admittedly drew me to this box set even more. I remember seeing that. Having the great Leonard Maltin introduce all these movies only adds to the viewing experience, doesn't it? Of course it does. You get an appreciation on The Whole Town's Talking by academic Sheldon Hall. An appreciation on Gideon's Day by Adrian Wotton, Chief Executive of Film London. Pamela Hutchinson is back, talking the life and career of Jean Arthur from The Whole Town's Talking. You get the Lux Radio Theatre adaptation of The Whole Town's Talking. The Red, White and Blue Line, a rare promotional film featuring the principal cast of The Long Grey Line. John Ford and Lindsay Anderson at the National Film Theatre, a rare footage of the filmmakers at London's National Film Theatre. the Super 8 version of The Last Hurrah, a video guide to the London locations of Gideon's Day, original theatrical trailers for The Long Grey Line, Gideon's Day and The Last Hurrah, image galleries for all the movies, new and improved subtitles for all the movies, and, like I said, all the booklets. Obviously a lot of stuff in that. I am very excited to delve into that, much as I am excited that I've watched 3 of these already, because I'm usually one to unfortunately keep them on the shelf for a little bit too long, and I shouldn't do that before I watch them. I should get them and watch them that week, you know, when I do buy things. But there we go. Those are the stuff. 8 total movies, 1 box set, 4 separate Blu-rays. That is my haul for this first half of the year's indicator sale. They'll be doing another one in October, I believe, as well. They usually do. So I'm sure we'll be back then. We might even be back before then with more indicator releases on Morgan's movie collection. Thank you very much for watching this as usual. Please subscribe, ding the notification bell on this YouTube channel if you do enjoy this kind of craziness, and for all the other fun stuff we have here as well. And like I said before, the It's a Wonderful podcast feed on all major podcast platforms. For Monday Madness, It's a Wonderful podcast, and Morgan Hasn't Seen, of course, Monday, Wednesday and Friday we have you covered over there on the main feed. Leave your likes, comment down what you think of these movies. Are you interested in these movies? Which version of this cover should I have? That's a very important question. Let me know if I should be looking forward to this kind of thing again. But thank you very much, and until next time, bye.